Hey Dennis, I'm out here hiking in the East Bay, San Francisco Bay Area, right by Hayward, California. And today I want to see how much we can forage for a little salad. So see how many wild edible plants we can find out here. This is a mostly deciduous forest composed of lots of these California bays, which are an edible plant, but they're very strong. They have a very, very strong sort of a little bit of like a chemical-y scent, like a cleaner. They're part of the magnolid family. Magnolias are in that family, but that will not be part of our salad. So let's keep hiking and see what we can find. Pretty immediately, we can see here, this is some wild mint. And one really cool thing that I've sort of discovered about foraging is every time of year and every location, plants and fruit and mushrooms will have different flavors, really distinct flavors. So, you know, the genetics of the plant matter, but also the growing conditions, the terroir, which I've talked about in a previous video. And this mint here is really, really, really good. It smells closer to lemon balm, which mint or lemon balm is in sort of the same category as mint. So I'll grab a little bit of that, but it is pretty strong. So, you know, I'll try not to grab too much. Okay, we've walked like 5 feet and we've got another wild edible. So these are called forget-me-nots. These are really pretty blue and yellow flowers. Really beautiful. So I might grab a couple of those, but I don't know. There's a lot of foraged foods that people say cause stomach problems. And I think people just have weak stomachs sometimes. Or maybe it's just if you eat like a whole lot of it. But I think if you're new to foraging, you should probably try just eating a little bit of something the first time you find it. Next time, maybe eat a little bit more. And just be progressive with it. And you slowly build confidence. So I was mentioning the California Bay, which we're standing under a couple of them here. They're really cool, kind of creepy trees that will fall over and continue growing. You can see that nice little creek down there. So this deciduous forest is mostly those California bays right now. They're really pretty, really cool trees, and you get the scent of them coming through the forest. And there's also some California live oak, and both of these trees are native to the area. And you get a lot of these deciduous forests in the East Bay. There are some redwoods on this side of the bay, but not as many and not as big. So a lot of the side of the trail is littered with these two viney creatures. You'll probably recognize this one as some form of blackberry or relative of blackberry. It's got these big old thorns on it. That's one of the indicators. And I have not seen the berries fruit in this region before, so I'm really excited to see all different kinds of berries come late summer. And you can also see there's a lot of this poison oak. Leaves of 3, let it be. Of course, there's other indicators as well, and there's other plants with 3-leaf clusters that aren't, but this is poison oak for sure. I have the evidence. There's a woodpecker right there. Really cool, making a lot of noise. And he's chirping at that crow that's up there somewhere. This is what I mean, these California bays. This one has fallen across the trail, as you can see, and this new growth has started to sprout upward. So they're just cool, falling over, and they'll keep growing. You can see completely uprooted on that side and just chilling across this path. Really, really cool plant. And these are very young. These are very young California bays. They get really gnarly and kind of spooky looking when they get older. Beautiful field of wild mint. So I'm gonna collect some of this. So a few indicators of wild mint. The leaves should look something like this. You can see they're alternating and they have this sort of sucker like tomato plants do between the leaf and the stem. And another very good clue that it's actually mint is it has a square stem, which is very strange, right? You don't see that very often, but the stem is square. So, you know, you almost certainly have a wild mint species or a mint species if you have that square stem and leaves that look as such. All right, see if you can spot the edible. Yep, there it is. Miner's lettuce. This stuff is everywhere out here, and it's persisted the last 2 or so months that I've looked for it. Miner's lettuce has a really nice taste, similar to a more mild spinach, and it's very, very, very distinct. Nothing else looks like this, right? You have sort of this, you know, circumferential, making up words here, leaf that goes around the stem, and then flowers coming out of the top, and the whole plant is edible. It's really, really a good plant. You can cook miner's lettuce. I've never cooked it before. I've always just eaten it raw. Again, tastes like spinach, but more mild. I really like this hike because it's very diverse. So we were just in that forest, and now we've got this pond here. Pretty sure those are cattails, which are edibles. I've never done it before. I've never really had the urge to hop in a swamp and pull some cattails out of the ground, but maybe one day. And then this whole thing is going to turn into grasslands up there that we'll walk a little bit through. It's actually a cow paddock, and so hopefully we can find one more edible there. Well, I got distracted. I caught a lizard. He's pretty chill. He's a big chiller. There he is. He's cool. His belly is a little blue. Mwah. Ooh. Okay, he's fast too. Goodbye, lizard. I have no clue what this is. Maybe it's very poisonous. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up on iNaturalist. All right, glad I looked it up. That is called the twin-berry honeysuckle. Really pretty, but considered toxic. So we're not gonna eat that today. So we are now in a field. I'll show you where we came from. That deep dark hole there. And let me know if you can see it. Over here is an invasive species. It's called mustard. There are a few phenotypes that I've seen out here. This is a yellow one. There's also purple and white ones way over there somewhere. Invasive, but delicious. Come on, Nick, fix that lighting. They do have leaves that you can eat, but I think it's time of year dependent. The flowers and the flower buds are always good. The leaves are like very, very hairy and prickly. I would not eat them from a mature plant, but maybe the younger plants, or maybe if you cook them up or something. But the flowers and the flower buds, they taste like broccoli. Sometimes they're a little spicier. These are really, really mild ones, so I'll pick a few of them. And you can see there's a lot, so I'm gonna get to picking. So this is the other phenotype that's common out here. Really nice white flowers, but you see there's there's 4 petals on the flowers, and these are much, much smaller. The yellow ones are much, much smaller, but there's 4 petals as well, and they have a similar taste. And I will say also, they are part of the Brassica family of plants, so that's why they taste like broccoli. They're related to broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. They're all bred for different parts of the plant. And these happen to just be wild ones. They're not related to the mustard that you put on your hot dog, but they're related to mustard greens that you might cook up during the holidays. You can't see her, but there's some lady behind me. I don't know if she's nervous about me walking in the field picking flowers, but people be like that, unfortunately. Just gave myself a little tick check, and it looks like I am good. I didn't pick a whole lot of the mustard. You know, I think a lot of these edible plants, they're really cool, but I think they're more favorable as like a trail snack. You know what I mean? Like, there are some things that you want to come out and harvest in bulk when they're ripe, like maybe berries or something like that, and freeze them for later. But a lot of these things I think are really just convenient little trail snack. Here's the twin berry honeysuckle again. That one's cool. I'm headed back now. I think I'm gonna go out and pick more of the miner's lettuce. I left a lot of it because I think it's, you know, in general with foraging, this is a public trail, so I wouldn't want to take all of everything. And we want these plants to persist in the next years. So always good to be on the conservative side when you're harvesting wild edibles. But to be completely honest, this is my second time doing this at this location. And both times I just wanted a salad, you know? Sometimes a guy just wants a salad. I think it makes you feel really good. Put a little olive oil and vinegar on it. It's delicious. So instead of going to the grocery store and buying romaine lettuce or something lame like that, I knew there was miner's lettuce on this trail. I knew there were mustard plants on this trail. And so I just came out here and I made a salad. And so I'm doing the same thing today. It's a lazy Sunday. And it's a good excuse to get outside too. So this is much more favorable than going to the grocery store and buying stuff. And if you were hoping for mushrooms on this foraging expedition, I apologize. It is pretty dry this time of year, and there really aren't any kinds of mushroom out right now. Apparently shaggy mane is kind of in season, but this is a much drier forest. You can hear the woodpecker knocking. And it's May, so, you know, it's like late spring. Things are starting to dry out. Mushroom season is something like November to March out here, something like that, the wet season, and it is no longer wet. So mushrooms in a coming video, but not today. That woodpecker is very loud. It's got a lot to say, but what I wanted to show you was this huge California bay. This is probably all one clonal population, and redwoods do similar things too, but it was probably cut down and then regrew from the base, because this is definitely not an old growth forest. It's definitely been cleared before, unfortunately, because you can see most of the trees are kind of small. So there's another one there, or maybe there was just a really big drought at some point. Kind of not super possible to say which. But most likely this area was cleared. It was clear cut for pastures or for growing food, and then it regrew into these much younger trees. You know, these California bays are probably 50 years old, somewhere around there. I don't think they're particularly slow or fast growing. Well, I really wanted to find some three-cornered leek. That is my current obsession. It tastes like a sweet onion, like a really sweet onion. If you've seen the movie Holes, it tastes like the onions in that one scene when they're fantasizing about onions or whatever. I don't exactly remember the movie. Basically, it tastes really, really good, like oniony and garlicky. None of that today. Maybe I'll make a whole video on that one. Man, I did not even have to try to make that look pretty. That's nice, just a little salad. Don't put salt on your salad. You gotta have salt. Come on now. Got some olive oil. This is porcini mushroom and sage. Just a little bit. Just lettuce is not salad. Listen up. This is apple cider vinegar. Very good for you, just a tiny bit. You could mix this all up beforehand, and some olive juice. Yes, sir. delicious. Anyway, Dennis, your challenge, go out, forage some stuff. It's spring in Georgia. I know you got some good stuff. Show me what you got. See ya.